Ayers, and I am the host of Health and Habits podcast. It has been a day today. I don't know if any of you have experienced the rain that we had, but if you did, I hope you did get wet. And today we're going to be talking about the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority, and our guest today is Mr. James Ratliff, and he's retired, but he's going to give us some insight about that organization and how it works. But if you want to join in, you can reach us at 1-800-492-5186. That is 1-800-492 5186. Okay, or you can catch us at webelievedigital.com. You can check us out on Facebook, We Believe Digital Facebook page, or YouTube. When you go to YouTube or Facebook, hit that like and share, or hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get those notifications every time Health and Habits come on. And once again, I am the owner of Ayers Insurance Group, located in Clinton, Mississippi. You can go to the company website at dennisayers.org if you need further information concerning health care, individual health, Medicare products, life products, dental or vision. Go on that website and fill out that quick, short 3-page form, and I will get that request, and we'll call you and set up some time, or you can call me at my company phone at 601-209-9853. That's 601-209-9853, or just simply send me a text. But either way, when you do, we will get in contact with you, and we'll schedule some time, and we will answer any question that you may have free of charge concerning your health care. Okay, Mr. Ratliff is like I said, he's retired from Mississippi Regional Housing Authority, and he worked there for 28 years. I met him actually about 3 or 4 years ago at LaFleur's Bluff Golf Club, and we just struck up a conversation, and we have been friends and talking ever since. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing great, Mr. Ayers.
All right. Well, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
And you worked for the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority for
28 years. I been with them for 28 years. I serve in the capacity of quality control specialist and fraud specialist, and very enjoyable tenure.
Okay, so that is an agency here in our area that's done a lot of great work.
Oh yeah, they provide housing for low-income families, and certainly they have a considerable number of public housings and a wait list. People don't like the wait list, but unfortunately, and just can't accommodate everybody at one time, so that brings about a wait list.
Wow. Yeah, and especially right now, because what we have is, and I know that the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority has nothing to do with the emergency housing associated with COVID-19.
No.
And our governor announced yesterday that they were going to end that program on August 15th.
Yeah, it's sad.
So if someone is not on a waiting list already, then this is not the organization or the agency they should be applying to for emergency housing?
No, you could, unless the housing authority receives some special allocation of funds to address that particular situation, then no. But I would encourage everyone to inquire, to contact the housing authority, but not in the sense of an emergency, but in the sense of inquiring whether or not that would be an agency that would be in a position to provide help for them.
Okay, so in other words, if someone is looking for emergency housing, this is not the agency to call.
It is not.
Okay, great. Well, and I would imagine, I would assume, because I assumed that it was.
No.
What were some of the qualifications that people needed to at least apply for assistance with the Mississippi Housing Authority?
Okay, they would qualify under the qualification of being homeless, displaced housing, and they could apply toward the waiting list.
Okay.
Now, at that time, once they put forth that application, there's a process require you to be patient because you have to wait to go through the application process, which probably would be a lot of people. But nonetheless, the effort would be worthwhile to place your name on the waiting list. When the only thing is the housing authority waiting list has to be open, and they usually broadcast on the radio, social media, newspaper, and things like that when their wait list is open.
So in other words, this is not designed for someone just to go down there or call them and say, I want to get on the waiting list. That has to be open, and so that open wait list, you have to be invited to come and join
Right.
that.
That's it.
Okay, I understand.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that just simply didn't know that.
Right.
And that's in part why we have this show, is we want to make sure that people have this information. Y'all can join in on the conversation. If you have any basic questions concerning this, you can reach us at 1-800 492-5186. That's 1-800 492-5186. If for some reason you cannot call and you want to go back and look at this at another time, you can go to YouTube, or you can go to WeBelieveDigital.com, or you can go to Facebook. Remember, when you go to Facebook or YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share. The subscribe button will allow you to receive these notifications every time that we are on air. And we're on air on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. Well, we're learning some valuable information.
Okay.
So we do know that the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority is not set up for emergency housing.
That's correct.
Okay, but if you are on the list already, or then there may be some type of recourse that may give you a little leverage on finding houses a little quicker. Right. Explain that process to us.
Well, they have qualifications depending on your housing. Say someone, the number one priority that they give to is the elderly. You got elderly people who need housing. They have fixed incomes and they need rental assistance. So a lot of emphasis placed on helping the elderly. Also, if you have someone that's in shelters and things like that, they have a program that allows them to address their issues, because a lot of times families need to transfer because of their circumstances from out of the state, the area that they live in, and in order to do that, they need to move. So the Housing Authority issue vouchers to these families. And a voucher allows a family to move anywhere in the United States that accepts that program.
Wow.
So that's a good effort for them there. There are several other housing qualifications. I don't recall all of them now. It's been 5 years since I've been there, but those are some of the number one housing displacement, which would be that. And then also the Housing Authority allocated funds to address maybe this type of situation where families are being displaced. Don't know whether or not that's happened, but that is a consideration. They may be in a position, you certainly have to talk to someone there that's currently there to find out.
So, and everything's based on funding, because generally, once the funding is gone, that's it.
That's it. You can't exceed beyond your means.
Amen. Yeah. Well, you're in this short 10 minutes that we've talked, you've opened my eyes to quite a bit.
Yeah,
and the reason I'm saying is I talk to a lot of people, and most of them are elderly, and most of them are on Medicare.
Okay.
So when you in those situations, the income tends to be the income. Of course, we know gas is going up, food is going up. Other parts of the country, and I'm sure here too, rent is going up.
Oh yeah.
So you're certainly educating me.
Yeah. Rent is going up substantially from what the information I've been hearing on social media and news. Some places rent like $100, $200 more than $300 more what family normally pays. So that's what can you do with that? Ask for help.
I was looking at a program, and they were talking about the rates on rents going up, and one lady indicated that her rent went up $557. Of course, that wasn't here.
Okay.
That was I think that was up north or like in New Jersey or somewhere like that. But still, if you are paying $700 for rent and your rent goes up $300, that's a problem.
That's it.
Especially if you're only
grocery going up with that.
That's exactly right.
As well,
So, but in those situations, what you're saying, basically, if you're a senior and you're in those situations, then there may be some help through the Jackson, Mississippi Regional Housing Authority for those individuals.
Correct.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, we will continue this line of questioning. But if anyone is interested and you think you may qualify or you have more in-depth questions, you can contact the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority, and their number is 601-373-7040. That's 601-373-7040. And they're right there on Terry Road at 180 Terry Road. That's in South Jackson. Right before you get on the interstate to 20 is right there. They're right next to that on-ramp, right there at 20 and 55.
Well, however, I don't think that they conduct business in that manner.
You would certainly have to call and get an appointment, right? Yes, sir.
So
Absolutely.
They don't.
No walk.
Drop your mails off and can't walk in and see them. And COVID changed a lot of the way we do business. So.
Well, let me ask you this, you may have to answer this when we come back.
Okay.
In about another minute and a half, we're going to go on a break. But how did that change with COVID? Because I know people were everything changed.
Oh yes, certainly.
With the moratorium on rent, and people not being, landlords not being able to remove anyone from the housing. How did that change with that agency? Are you aware?
Some of the things I'm just on the outside looking in, aware of. It stopped the clients from coming into the office. They didn't, of course, they didn't want contact that was everywhere, like that. They changed their procedure on how they do annual recertification. It's more over the phone, the application process and then the review process.
And
a lot of the meetings and things like that are done on the internet as opposed to face to face.
Yes.
So most of the personal contact face to face has just been terminated.
Okay, and there's a process for them to get recertification. When we come back from break, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But y'all give us a call at 1-800-492-5186. That's 1-800-492-5186. You can reach us at that number. You can also see us on Roku TV. You can see us at WeBelieveDigital.com, YouTube, and We Believe Digital Facebook. If you missed these, go to those platforms, but hit that like and share button. That way you'll get those notifications anytime this show is going on. And we'll be right back after the break.
Advertise on WeBelieve.Global, a brand new digital media platform. Share your brand with our audience on our many global live stream TV broadcasts and over the radio. For more info, visit WeBelieve.Global or call 800-492-5186, option 1.
Are you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, but you're not sure where or how to start? At Entrepreneurs Academy 101, our online program will guide you step by step on how to start and grow your own business. We offer courses such as how to write a business plan, how to create a budget, and so much more. Our online training program is designed for you to learn at your own pace, and there's no set order to complete this program. Because our academy is online, you have the choice to learn with a group, with friends, or individually. Upon completion of the entire curriculum, you will receive a certificate of achievement to acknowledge that you have completed the training needed to become a successful entrepreneur. So enroll today to design the life that you love. Contact your entrepreneur coach, Brenda Myers, at 601-672-0695 or visit our website at www.entrepreneursacademy101.com for more information.
Socrates Garrett ENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. Socrates Garrett ENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Okay, we are back, and once again, my name is Dennis Ayers. I am the host of Health and Habits podcast, and we are an information podcast show to where we can get information out to the citizens here in the Jackson metro area and the state of Mississippi and also the nation. We're also broadcasting in over 135 countries, globally. So give us a call. We're talking to Mr. James Ratliff, who was formerly of the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority. He's retired after 28 years, and he is a wealth of knowledge, and he shared with me some information that I was just simply not aware of, and I'm sure most of you were not aware of. If there's any questions you may have, give us a call here in the next 15 minutes at 1-800-492-5186. That's 1-800-492-5186. You can view us at the platform of WeBelieveDigital.com, or also Roku TV. You can also see us on We Believe Facebook page and YouTube. When you go to YouTube or Facebook, hit that like and share or that subscribe button, and that way you'll get that notification anytime this show comes up. Okay, so once again, Mr. Ratliff,
Right.
Before we went off of before we went on break, you mentioned something about recertification. What I have seen over the years were some of my clients would show me a letter about recertification. I would tell them it means that you have to go down there and sign up for something. Outside of that, I did not know.
Okay.
Exactly what is that process of recertification with the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority?
Recertification addresses families that are already receiving housing that have a voucher. And the housing authority is required to come out at least once a year to recertify that family's income, household composition, to inspect the housing that they're living in to ensure that housing quality standards are kept up. And that's done once a year. An inspector goes out to the property to inspect the houses. The tenants are called into the office, or at least were called into the office. They're doing that solely over the phone now. I'm not sure about the inspection process. I think it's a cooperation between the landlord and the inspector to where they look and determine whether or not there's something wrong, talk with the family and ask them if something is wrong. And I don't know actually whether or not they're going out and doing physical, but in most cases I think they probably are. I don't see them getting around not going out, and the family wouldn't know of what
Everything. During that process, what exactly are they looking for, or is that proprietary information?
Oh no, it's an extensive list of things. It's not a difficult repairs. They don't. They're just decent sanitary housing is what they're trying to uphold. Simple things like they ensure that the household have working smoke alarms, that they're properly weatherproof, to weather stripping on the doors, and the windows are not leaking. One of the unusual things with the housing authority would be if you have a gas water heater and it's located in an area where the family has to go through, or in the bedroom or something, it has to be put inside an enclosure just in case something happens. If it explodes the antennas, rather than it blast it out, it blasts up and prevent injury. The other one, if you got porch, or four more step porch that's more than 30 inches, you'd have to put handrails and guardrails up. But other than that, it's just simple painting, clean carpet, and just decency.
Okay. Now, what are the standards for someone who is disabled or in a wheelchair? Is there certain ADA standards that's required from the landlord in order to rent that place?
Handicap ramp have to be installed. Support bars around. It depends on the physical condition or whatever the disability is of the individual. You may have to put support rails around the bathtubs and everything. Handicap accessible appliances where the knobs in the front. Things like that to make it accessible for someone with a disability.
Okay, so in other words, that's the responsibility of the landlord.
Correct.
In order for him to do business with the Mississippi Regional
Had to meet
Housing
those
Authority,
standards.
he has to meet those.
That's correct.
Okay. So there's that checklist. You got your tenant side, and you got your landlord side.
Correct.
Okay. What are the penalties if someone is in violation of those?
Well, the housing authority allows the landlord 30 days to resolve any deficiencies or problems that don't come up to the housing authority standards. And if he complies with that, fine. If not, then the tenant issued a voucher, and so that they can move. The housing authority stops payment where they're at the end of that 30 days.
Okay. Whether the tenant is there or not.
Right.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I did not realize that.
Yeah, there's consequences. But also with the tenant, now, if there are tenant calls situations, then it falls the other way. The tenant had to be responsible for resolving those issues, or they could lose their voucher.
So, in other words, if you have a tenant who's knocking holes in the walls or tearing up ceiling fans or something like that, then they have an allotted time to fix that out of their own pocket.
Correct.
Or
they will lose their voucher.
They'll lose their voucher.
Likewise, it goes beyond that. If you have tenants that, say, threaten the community, someone who's creating problems, or a child that's disobedient and goes out and make a lot of mischief and things like that, and cause hardship for their neighbors. They give them opportunity to correct that. They have an option either to move that child out of the household, transfer, and if that reoccurs, they can lose their voucher in a situation like that.
How would the Mississippi Housing Regional Housing Authority know that?
Someone would call in, and that's one of the things that I addressed when I was there.
Okay, and you were an investigator,
right?
Okay. Now tell me that process, because we see this from time to time where you will have a young man or a woman, and they may be a disruption in that community, and naturally the neighbors feel they may not have any recourse.
Right. What happens, particularly with drugs, if someone sells drugs, then you automatically lose you. And then not only do you lose your voucher, you can never be on the program again.
Okay, so these young men and women that are selling drugs, their parents aren't, but maybe they are.
Right.
They're putting their parents at
the risk of
peril
losing, right?
Of losing
Correct.
Their status with the Regional Housing Authority forever.
Right. But that's a due process now. If it's shown that the parents were not aware of it, but if they're able to assess that the family knew about this type of thing and just they're going along with it, then you suffer the consequences of that.
Once again, I had no idea that all that was involved.
Yeah, same thing. Fighting, shooting, disturbing your neighbors, and you lose your sister. No one wants someone to move in next door to them that are constantly fighting each other, cussing your neighbor out, stay out of my business and stuff like that. And, that disturbs the peace of the quietness of the community. So you want that element removed.
And that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, of course that's a big deal. Yeah. But I guess I just don't understand that process. But you can explain it to me because you were the guy that went out and investigated that.
Right. Yeah.
Once you get a complaint, is there an anonymous hotline that they could call, or they will just simply call?
Just call the housing authority. Or most of the time you got it in writing and stuff like that because people don't want to get personally involved. They're concerned about their safety and well-being.
Right.
So they don't want to come out and just say, hey,
I'm the guy.
Identify themselves, things like that. But you are required to go out and do an investigation, talk to the family. You first want to bring it to their attention that here's what we have here, and if you can resolve this, then you best resolve it. If it explain to them what the consequences can be, if it continues, then the consequences prevail.
Wow. Have you personally known anyone to have lost their?
Quite a few.
Wow. Forever is a long time.
And sometimes when it's a child in the situation, you take that in consideration because you don't want, particularly if you got an elderly family member that's the head, you don't want that head of household to suffer because of what that young adult did in their household.
Yeah.
But again, that plays to how much knowledge they have regarding that, or they're willing participant, things like that.
Yes.
But, in our society now, they hold the elderly people hostage. Sometimes they're in volatile situations, and so you have to be careful how you approach that.
Right, and I am aware. I was years ago. I volunteered on delivering food to seniors. Yeah. And there you see certain situations. The 2 minutes you're at the door, but really you just don't know.
Right.
And that's the thing. And I guess that's why a lot of times you just simply have to say something, And then that's when a guy like you would come out and do a full investigation.
True.
Okay, and that is something. Well, y'all, we're down to our final 4 minutes. If you want to know more and how you can get involved with the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority, you can reach them at 601-373-7040. That's 601-373-7040. And once again, I want to just kind of reiterate, this is not a walk up, you go down there and walk in and expect service. Life have changed, and the way people do businesses have changed in the last 2 or 3 years. So if you want more information, give them a call at 601-373-7040, and I'm sure they will explain to you all the different programs out there that they have. Now, tell me, look, they're building a senior housing, 123 unit building behind the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority on Terry Road.
Right, you can see it right off the highway.
Yeah, you can see it right off the highway. I know that your tenure was up before that building went up.
Yes.
But generally, when they build a building like that, there are certain stipulations and qualifications you need in order to get into those. But generally, those are low-income buildings.
Oh, yes,
right?
they're low income. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, again, you have to be on the wait list in order to even be considered for the housing. You could just walk up and say, I want to, like it's an open market unit, I want to rent one of those units because it's a program.
Okay, so in other words, if you seen that going up, you have to, they'll make that notification that they are accepting applications.
Correct.
And once you get on that list, then all this other stuff opens up to you.
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, you have educated me, sir. I'll be honest with you, I did not know half of how this worked.
Okay.
And a gentleman like yourself with 28 years, you are a walking wealth of knowledge concerning this. I know things have changed because you left prior to COVID, and COVID has changed the way we all do business.
Correct.
But I want to thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
I really hope they open back up the golf course. I don't think that's going to happen, but they may. Yeah. But y'all, we want to thank you for watching. If you missed this program, then simply go to WeBelieveDigital.com. Go to We Believe Facebook, Roku TV, or YouTube. And when you do, hit that like and subscribe button and share. Please share because we want to get this information out to as many people as possible. And then you'll start receiving those notifications. Once again, this is the Health and Habits Talk Show podcast. And we had Mr. James Ratliff here today, and he has been a wealth of information to all those that have been listening. He educated and schooled me. I don't know if he did that for you. You may have already known this information, but if you didn't, now you're a little bit more educated about the Mississippi Regional Housing Authority. And I want to thank everyone. If you have any more questions, you can reach me at my company phone at 601-209-9853. And you know what I always say, if you want a healthier outcome, then change those habits. God bless each and every one of you, and good night.